Hello and welcome back to No Bullshit. I've been waiting to talk about this hot topic for a while now, hoping the circus would die down eventually if we're being honest, but unfortunately, it's only gotten worse. Supreme Court nominee Judge Brett Kavanaugh has been under some serious fire lately from the Democrats. They of course will stop at nothing to block his approval, him being a conservative leading judge nominated by President Trump, who would also be serving a life term in a very important position. For those who don't know, the US Supreme Court is the highest court in the land. They consist of 9 of the top judges in the country who are charged with interpreting the Constitution and setting precedents which all the lower federal and state courts must follow. It's a pretty big deal to say the least, and that's why when the opportunity came up to nominate a new judge, another one had retired earlier this year, well, now it was President Trump's turn to pick a nominee. His second pick actually, and he could likely get a third once Ginsburg goes down. You see, the way it works is this: new Supreme Court justices are chosen by being nominated by the president, and then they're confirmed by the Senate. And if you hadn't heard, we're currently in the Senate approval phase. Kavanaugh has been under review with the Senate in hearings for what seems like forever now, and so too have we seen endless attacks and crying from the liberals about it, going on for what seems like forever too, or forever 21. With that said, let's backtrack in the story a little bit. The Kavanaugh hearing started a few weeks back, and I want to catch up on all the liberal silliness surrounding it, and then you can really see how ridiculous the latest allegations are. First, let's look at this picture for a second. Now, if you already know this part of the story, it may be obvious, but if you don't, just take a look at this picture of Brett Kavanaugh at his Senate hearing. Now see if you can guess what offended the liberals about this. I know at first glance I wouldn't think much of it. Maybe the leftists are triggered by straight white males at this point. That's highly possible, but that's not it. Not exactly. The other thing I notice on second thought is this. Check out that stone cold hottie sitting behind the judge. What's this sexy beast doing there, you might ask? Well, that's Zina Bash, and she's an attorney and legal aid and clerk who's worked with Trump and Kavanaugh previously. And she's also at the heart of one of the early controversies surrounding this hearing. But it wasn't her good looks that got her into trouble, although maybe the ugly jealous left-wingers attacked her because they were jealous of that. Regardless, you see, following this day of the hearings, leftists began to accuse Zina Bash of throwing up a white power, white supremacy sign. Right here. That's right. If you can look away from Zina's beautiful face for just 1 second, look down at her hand. It kinda looks like an OK symbol, a symbol which Democrats have declared racist, saying it means white power now. And this bullshit is wrong for so many reasons. First of all, Zina Bash is Jewish. She's a half Jewish, half Mexican, sexy saint, and the left needs to leave her alone. Like that leave Britney alone shit. Just leave her alone. Leave Zina alone.
Leave her alone!
You know what I mean. But really, why would a Mexican Jew throw up a white power symbol? This makes no sense. And that's not even getting to the more important fact. This hand symbol doesn't even mean white power. It's an OK symbol. Divers use it to signal that they're good or OK underwater. And it's gone on to become synonymous with saying yes or OK in the everyday world too. The only reason people think it's white power now is because of a deep internet joke from 4chan or something. A while back, they tried to start this meme saying that the OK gesture is actually a W and a P, standing for white power. And boy, that joke sure caught on, didn't it? Now we got litters of formerly legitimate news sources from the United States saying a Mexican Jew is flashing white power at Kavanaugh's confirmation hearing. Pretty ridiculous and awfully convenient for the left-wing mainstream media too, to pull it on some conservatives they hate. And you sure don't see anyone crying when other left-wingers use the OK symbol. Here's a picture from the new Democrat darling and socialist Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. And she's given the OK symbol, but where's the outrage for this meaning white power? Or what about last week, when actress Anne Hathaway gave an acceptance speech at a gay pride award thingy and flashed up 2 white power symbols and no one even questioned it? So if it's not clear by now, well, that's because, as always, it's only okay when liberals do it, pun intended. And of course, also, the left-wing mainstream media will clearly find anything they can to attack us here. They are itching to go after Kavanaugh so bad, they're seeing white power symbols where they don't even exist. I mean, I didn't even mention the fact that Zina wasn't even given the OK symbol. Her hand was just resting on her arm randomly, and it happened to look like the OK symbol, or similar to it. A symbol which the left is now pretending means white power when convenient, which in this case they think it's appropriate because they want to attack the man Zina is sitting behind. Absolutely unbelievable. But believe it or not, we're just getting started with this shit show. As things got closer to a vote in the Senate, the Democrats start getting really desperate. I mean, the best thing they had on Kavanaugh so far was that bullshit Zina Bash white power stuff, so the guy must be pretty squeaky clean, right? Well, what happens next will really make your head turn. Just days before the hearings were to finish up and a vote was to be cast, presumably confirming Kavanaugh because there's there's no reason not to. Well, out of the woodwork came a random sexual assault accusation. Christine Blasey Ford, a psychologist and college professor, and also a radical liberal and Democrat supporter, well, she began to claim that Brett Kavanaugh assaulted her when they were in high school, over 35 years ago. Ford alleges a drunken 17-year-old Kavanaugh pinned her down at a party in 1982, groped her and covered her mouth when she tried to scream. She provided a therapist's notes to the Washington Post and took a polygraph, but she has received criticism from Republicans for not being able to recall some details, including the exact location of the house. And well, of course Republicans would criticize this. This is absolutely ridiculous. If Ford had really been assaulted, why didn't she go to the police? Why did she wait 35 years to say anything? It's pretty damn convenient to come out with it now and bring it to the Senate just a few days before Kavanaugh's confirmation. To me, it sounds like the memory of the groping certainly could be exaggerated and probably politically motivated or even just made up. It's probably all made up to try and slander a man and turn the public against him right before his Senate confirmation. But fortunately, most people see right through this liberal trickery, but there are still many who are actually buying this. And for those with a good memory or knowledge of political history, like me, well, we know this isn't the first time this has happened. In 1991, Judge Clarence Thomas faced similar allegations in the 11th hour of his own Senate confirmation hearings. He was eventually confirmed and is still on the Supreme Court to this day, but that was only after his own rocky start, filled with his own sexual assault allegation. Back in 91, another liberal college professor with obvious left-wing motivations accused another conservative-leaning judge of sexual assault right before his confirmation. Not kidding. I wish I was making this up, but this is all true. Back in the day, it was Anita Hill accusing Clarence Thomas, and now, of course, it's Ford accusing Kavanaugh. But I think Brett Kavanaugh should be responding as strongly and as confidently as Clarence Thomas did in his own situation. Take a look at this old clip of Thomas responding to the Senate back then.
The Supreme Court is not worth it. No job is worth it. I'm not here for that. I'm here for my name, my family, my life, and my integrity. I think something is dreadfully wrong with this country.
Wow, pretty damn good so far, Clarence. Way to go. But don't let me stop you now. Get him, dog. Get him.
When any person in this free country would be subjected to this. This is not a closed room. There was an FBI investigation. This is not an opportunity to talk about difficult matters privately or in a closed environment. This is a circus. It's a national disgrace.
Hey, I said the Kavanaugh hearing was a circus earlier. I guess Clarence felt his situation was about the same almost 27 years ago. Funny how the left-wingers are pulling the same bullshit and thinking it will work this time. Goddamn idiots. Next, in a bold and strong move, Brett Kavanaugh decided to do a tell-all interview on Fox News in order to try and defend his name and honor. Brett even has his wife there and her unwavering support, and he also has a list of hundreds of other witnesses, friends, and relatives who will also vouch for him, many of which are also women, by the way. So what I find funny about this is the leftists say listen and believe when it comes to women, right? Their accusations are facts and the men are automatically guilty without the need for proof. But how come the left doesn't believe conservative women or women who support conservatives, like Brett's wife and the women in his life? Well, that's because they're all giving Brett resounding praise and support. And they're also the ones who actually know the man, by the way. But the truth and facts don't matter here. Not when leftists can just hire some random liberal college professor who knew Brett in high school and probably pay her to claim he assaulted her. And I guess that's part of the reason why Kavanaugh had to do this big interview now with Fox News, which everyone who watched it said Brett Kavanaugh had all the right answers. Even CNN admitted that. Check out this video of them commenting on the interview.
We're talking about an allegation of sexual assault. I've never sexually assaulted anyone. I did not have sexual intercourse or anything close to sexual intercourse in high school or for many years thereafter. And the girls from the schools I went to and I were friends.
So you're saying that through all these years that are in question, you were a virgin?
That's correct.
Ouch. I mean, there's nothing wrong with being a virgin in high school. A bit of a late bloomer, but damn. Having to admit all this on national TV in order to defend you and your family from left-wing attacks? What a travesty this is becoming. And I don't think the liberals realize this, but it's making them look worse than Brett Kavanaugh, 100%.
Chris, I just think it's absolutely unbelievable, and I think the American people are smarter than this. You cannot reconcile the individual in the Fox News interview with the individual who wrote what he wrote in his yearbook.
Ah yes, the famous yearbook part of this story. You see, once this Ford accusation came out, someone somewhere found an old yearbook from Kavanaugh's high school, and I guess he wrote something with some extra F's on a word, and now the left is claiming that was sexual or something. Pretty crazy, right? But I guess nothing should surprise us at this point. Whether the yearbook post never meant that or it was just forged, either way, the leftists are looking more and more crazy and desperate every day. And it's also worth noting that the leftists also pulled this same move. They pulled this same yearbook trick on another Republican candidate last year, Roy Moore, who was facing the same kind of bullshit from the left last November. He also received a fake sexual assault allegation right before his election, and it was supported by a bogus yearbook entry as well. You really can't make this kind of coincidence up. Much like how Clarence Thomas had the same thing happen to him, Roy Moore and Brett Kavanaugh are seeing how truly messed up and out of control the Democratic Party has become. In the end, we're still waiting to see how this will all play out. Brett Kavanaugh's confirmation has already been delayed once, and I'm sure the leftists are hoping to delay it again and again, as long as possible. Their end game is to push it back months and months in order to make the vote happen after the upcoming midterm elections in November. But I think there's no way the Democrats will win how they think they will in these upcoming elections, especially not after acting like this. They're desperate liars who are cheating and ruining people's lives for political reasons, and the people could see that now more than ever, and that's why we should all be voting Republican come November 8th. And the last bit I have to report on today is this. There's been another newer allegation thrown at Brett Kavanaugh, pretty convenient, and Christine Ford has yet to testify yet, so it really seems like she's avoiding it, the first accuser. Ford has even gone so far as to refuse to fly, pretending she can't so she could take the much longer drive across the country from California to Washington, D.C. And I think this new allegation is meant to further postpone things and to try and get the lying Christine Ford off the hook for a little while. Next, Senator Ted Cruz got roped into this when a group of radical leftist borderline Antifa protesters forced him out of a restaurant because of all this Kavanaugh confirmation drama. Really showing your true colors, libtards. They will truly stop at nothing to take over this country, even if it means lying and cheating and hurting people and their reputations when they do it. The left has no soul. They're not the party of the people anymore. They're against the people and the country and against freedom and democracy. Think about it. We live in a world where one wild, unproven, unverifiable accusation from 30 plus years ago, that's the kind of thing that can ruin a man's life. All because the left has Trump derangement syndrome and they can't handle losing with dignity. And this, of course, is also kind of a byproduct of the Me Too movement, an anti-sexual assault cause that started with good intentions but has now been used as a political weapon by the left, who are taking advantage of the public's new inclination to always believe women no matter what, and to throw away the assumption that people are innocent until proven guilty, a formerly strong, highly American principle thrown out in order to further the degenerate anti-American left-wingers. It's no wonder why Vice President Mike Pence has stated that he will no longer be left alone with women other than his wife. It's certainly not worth the risk in this day and age, and I hate to say it, but most men should be taking this course of action too. It's the only way to be safe from false allegations anymore. What do you guys think? Is Brett Kavanaugh guilty of these crazy sexual assault allegations that came in the 11th hour of his hearings? Has the left lost its mind and finally gone too far? And what do you think about the future of our country? Has the Me Too movement been hijacked for political reasons? Comment your thoughts on everything below, and thanks for watching No Bullshit. See y'all next time.